Braves fans, welcome back to another installment of Quarantine Q&A. And today on the show is Drew Waters, live from the state of Georgia. How you doing, Drew? And where are you exactly right now?
I'm actually at my parents' house right now. I'm doing good, just continuing to try to find a place to work out and hit and stay ready for the season.
You know, last week was a whirlwind for everybody, but just take me through your week this past week and how you've dealt with everything so far.
It was crazy. I always pack. I've kind of learned since my first year of pro ball, pack light and packing something that you can just throw all your stuff in case you got to go. So we played the Detroit Tigers, and we were in Lakeland. And, of course, all the players were talking about the coronavirus. As the week started to go on, it went from, okay, if you sign autographs, sign with batting gloves on, to, okay, don't sign autographs at all. And then before we knew it, it was, we're going to take Saturday and Sunday off, come back Monday, see where we're at. And then we didn't even make it Saturday and Sunday. They called us back in later Friday night, and they told us we were all going home. And it was kind of funny. I was sitting with my roommate, CJ Alexander and AJ Graffinino, and we were packing up our stuff, and it doesn't even feel real that we're leaving spring training to go home because a virus has spread across this world.
Right.
So
You know,
it was it was a lot, and it was definitely a lot in 1 week. But sometimes you just got to learn to make the most out of certain things.
I know baseball is kind of the farthest thing on most people's minds right now, but when you think about what could happen, what goes through your mind, what keeps you positive, I guess, looking forward to what we could have with the season?
I mean, just obviously the virus is the world's main focus right now, and honestly, it's my focus because I don't want to get COVID-19, and I don't want to spread it to anybody if I do have it. So, it's hard not to have the coronavirus as your main focus, but it makes you appreciate a lot of things. One being able to play baseball as your profession, and having the opportunity to go out, play in front of fans, have fans want your autographs, and get paid to play the game that you grew up playing your entire life. So, it stinks that we're not playing right now, but when you look at the big picture of things, this could really be a blessing in disguise, and we don't know what's going to happen, but I'm staying ready, and I'm going to be ready to go when we do get the chance to go back out on the field.
You didn't get a chance to have a full spring training, but how did you feel out there at the plate? You had a lot of opportunities to play early on. How did you feel, and what were some of the things you were looking to work on?
Yeah, early in spring training, even last year, I remember, obviously, I wanted to start in Double-A. I was slated to kind of go to High A because I really only had 100 at-bats in High A, and I was pressing a little bit, putting in a little bit too much pressure on me, and then at the same time, I was working through a couple of swing adjustments I made during the off season and last year's spring training. So I got off to a horrible start, and I immediately hit the panic button, and I continued to struggle. And then finally, Dominic Chidi sat me down, and he said, "Look, we all know you're a good player. You need to calm down, trust your ability." And I started to really turn around my spring training, and it ended on a high note. And I started off the season, and it kind of just never died out. And so this year, similar thing happened. I was struggling at the plate. There were a couple things I wanted to work on in my swing. Of course, I had a great year last year, but I believe there's always room to improve, especially at the plate offensively. And so I tried to do that this offseason, try to make a couple of minor adjustments that I thought would play in my favor once the season started. And so early in spring training, when it's hard enough as is to try to hit 97, but when you try taking what you worked on in the off season into a game and you try to do that and hit 97, it becomes really difficult to hit. So Once again, kind of got in my head a little bit, but this year I stayed a lot more sane just because I saw what happened to me last year. I saw where I started slow. I saw the season I had. So I didn't really hit the panic button this year. I continued to get my work in the cage, continued to try to have good at bats. And, if I had a great at bat, great. If I had a bad at bat, forget about it. Focus on the next at bat, because I think we can all agree that 20 years from now, when people look back at my statistics, it's not going to be my statistics from spring training in 2020. It's going to be the season, or it's going to be the statistics I put up in the regular season. And so far, I've put up pretty good numbers to this date.
Drew Waters here on Quarantine Q&A. Let's lighten things up a little bit. On one of the Fox Sports broadcasts, they had you on, and you were heavily criticized for mispronouncing Ronald Acuna Jr.'s name. Have you had time, maybe over this slight break, to work on some pronunciations of names?
I've always known that to correctly pronounce his name, it's Acuna because of the way it's spelled. But down here in Georgia, we tend to talk with a little bit of a country accent and make all of our words flow together a little bit. So sometimes it comes out as Acuna. But to all the Braves fans that gave me heck for it, I'm sorry for mispronouncing Ronald Acuna's name. But I'm a redneck. I talk like a country boy, so sorry.
I think we can all forgive you. Everybody's quarantining, and we encourage folks to stay inside and to work on social distancing and stay safe. If you had to pick a teammate to be quarantined with for whatever amount of time, who would you pick to be quarantined with?
Definitely Kyle Muller. He started cooking in Danville, and when I started seeing the stuff he cooked in Danville, I was like, ooh, I don't know if I'm going to get in on that. But some of the Instagram stories of the things he cooked in spring training made me hungry. And I think if I were to get quarantined, I would need somebody to cook for me. And, I'm going to volunteer Muller for that.
I'll accept that as selfish reasons. A lot of guys passing the time with MLB The Show. First off, what do you think about all the minor league guys being included? And I know there's been some simulations done. You pretty happy with MLB The Show version of Drew Waters?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not a big video game player. I do get tagged in some stuff on social media, so I have seen my character. And so far, I'm pleased. I mean, everything I get tagged in on Twitter says my character rakes. So that's good to know, because if you can't hit, you can't play unless you're a pitcher or a catcher. But, yeah, I think it's super cool, the fact that minor league players are now included in the video game. I think that minor league players play a huge role in organization, just because it provides depth for an organization. It allows certain players to get their at-bats to be able to get up to the big leagues. And without the minor leagues, you wouldn't see the players like Ronald Acuna come out. I mean, of course, he's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, but he still had to learn things in the minor leagues. And so I think, including minor league teams and being able to play with these prospects, it's really cool. And I'm actually gonna have to go buy a PlayStation so I can play with my character.
Talking to Drew Waters. Drew, I guess, is there anything you want to tell Braves Nation out there during this time, and kind of give you the floor for a second?
Stay inside. Don't get too close to too many people, and stay active. You don't want it to stop moving, because when you stop moving, it's hard to get back going again. So just stay healthy, and we're looking forward to seeing all you guys at some point in the year 2020. And go Braves.
Southern League MVP last year. And by the way, at some point, I'm not sure what the date now will be, but we'll be giving away a Drew Waters MVP statue to the first 1,000 fans at Trustmark Park. So that should be cool. We'll make sure to send you one gift wrapped.
I would love it if y'all sent me one. I already know my mom, the minute she sees the promotion, she's going to be saying, Drew, where's my statue? So I'm going to have to get a couple of those from you guys.
All right, Drew, stay safe, you and your family, and wish you nothing but the best, man.
Thank you. You too.